hot dogs. Alec lost the car keys. James said, boys, relax, we got the whole Pine Forest lease. Cooler full of cans, tasty cups and bad advice. Then that branch snapped behind us, those eyes. Not from a deer, that's for sure tonight. Bigfoot stole our beer by the campfire. Hey! Left big tracks and a half-eaten s'more. Tore through the tents like a drunk barn choir. Slammed one burp, then he wanted some more. If anyone asks why the cooler's all clear, tell them.
Morning guys, how are we doing? So what we're going to do, we'll get set up, sit down, have a cup of coffee, have a little bit of a chat and see where we go from there.
Bigfoot stole our beer. Tim grabbed a flashlight, Alec grabbed a folding chair. James grabbed his phone, trying to catch that cryptid glare. We found muddy footprints leading straight past all our gear, and a note scratched in the dirt. Next time, bring the good stuff here. Real connoisseur. Bigfoot stole our beer by the campfire. Hey! Left big tracks and a half-eaten s'more. Tore through the tents like a drunk barn choir. Slammed one burp, then he wanted some more. If anyone asks why the cooler's all clear, tell them Bigfoot stole our beer. Now we sit around the ashes, smelling smoke and cheap cologne. Tim swears he heard it laughing like a cousin on the phone. If you're camping in these mountains, hide your cooler, guard it tight, or that hairy party crasher is drinking free again tonight. Whoa! Bigfoot stole our beer by the campfire. Hey! Left big
Well, good morning everyone. Now we've got that out of the way, what are we doing without a cup of coffee? Right, so I thought we'd have a little bit of a chat about what we're going to be doing with this channel. So it's reasonably straightforward, if we're going to be honest. I've sat on the fence about whether I would make this channel for quite a while. Last time we were out camping with a few friends, mate made a joke to me. So what's the one thing you always take camping? An old grey beard. And obviously I fit the bill. Or at least so he thinks. He's a lot younger, don't worry about it. You'll meet him at some point. So this spawned an idea. Grey beard camping. Nice and simple. So what we're going to be doing, and I'll give you a quick idea of that now, is generally speaking, everything you could want to do outdoors. We're going to be doing camping, we're going to be doing hiking, exploring, a bit of folklore, as much as this will make perhaps some of you cringe and definitely make some of the people you're going to meet later cringe. I love Bigfoot. Anything to do with Bigfoot on there. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not one of those people that's going to abide into he's been picked up by aliens or anything like that. But one of the things that I really love about it is simply the unknown. Unfortunately, I was born in the wrong country. I'm in the UK. We do have folklore, and believe me, I am going to look into that because it's something that genuinely interests me. Now, whether it's real or not is a completely different thing, but let's just say I like the idea. So it'd be something I'd like to believe in. Okay, so just going back to the channel for a second. So like I said, we're going to start with camping. So what we're going to do with that is, unfortunately, what I did today might seem a bit strange. Obviously bringing my own wood into the woodland, but unfortunately this is a protected woodland. So as always, we respect the wishes of the landowner. So obviously I did have to bring in my own wood, purely just because he doesn't want me going around cutting down trees. Unfortunately, that includes the deadfall, because this is a protected woodland. So obviously the deadfall, fallen trees, things like that, are obviously good for the soil, part of the ecosystem. So we don't want to be cutting them down and burning them unnecessarily. As I said, camping. Right, so what we're going to be doing is, we've got permission to do some camping up in Yorkshire on some private land. So what we're going to be doing there is, at least once a month, me, a few friends, they may not vary, going to take up some camping equipment and give it a test. Now, what camping equipment we're going to test, will vary wildly. The first one we're going to be doing has got a bit of an OEX theme going, purely just because Go Outdoors recently had a sale. Now, last time we went camping, we took a £700 Nemo tent, a £500 hot tent, and a 350 quid bivvy bag, which was a bit over the top for a little bit of a camp in Yorkshire with a nice fire. So what we decided was we'd rather have, especially the sort of the £700 backpacking lightweight Nemo, stuff like that. Even again, the hot tent was a little bit of overkill given we had a nice fire and it wasn't all that cold. So what we decided to do was get something cheaper and go from there. So basically what we decided was we'd take a look, see what criteria we were looking for was something waterproof, reasonably cheap, reasonably usable, the type of thing where at the end of the day, if you beat it half to death, if it gets damaged, it's not great, you could repair it, but at the end of the day, you're not really going to lose any sleep over it. Whereas on the other hand, obviously, a £700 ultralight backpacking Nemo tent, that's a little bit different. So that's the first thing we're going to be doing, is taking a look at 3 different OEX tents. They're all completely different, with a different price, slightly different idea. We've got 2 2-man and a 3-man. Some people do want that extra space. Maybe you bring in the dog, maybe you bring in your kids, something like that. So obviously we looked at a 3-man and 2 2-men. We'll get into those obviously when we actually go on the video. We'll break them down, we'll give them a test. The other sort of stuff we're going to look at testing as well is going to be things that are generally useful. So don't get me wrong, I know I mentioned the £700 Nemo tent. That's not really the sort of stuff we're going to be looking at. Obviously it's available to us because we have got that sort of stuff, same as a 500 quid hot tent, things like that. They are things that we're going to use in the video, but they're not things we're exactly going to focus on, purely because it's not really something that the general public or the random camper or something like that is really going to need. Most people, it's got a 500k hydrostatic head, it's 50 quid, it's reasonably decent nick, it's easy enough to put up. That's probably going to do most people in the UK, let's be realistic. You don't really need the massive overkill. We will test them if we've got them available to us, but obviously it's not really what we're going to focus on. We're really going to look at what's affordable, what's useful, along with the camping. So like I say, we'll test those tents, we're going to test the gear we've got. We're also going to run some comparisons. So basically, for example, you need a camping lantern. We'll get our hands on 3, 4, 5. We'll run a comparison between us, see what we think, which is best, which is not, and then where we go from there. See if we can give you guys a bit of advice. We're going to do that with a lot of different sort of camping equipment and sort of build a general camping kit. So basically the sort of things that you'd always take with you. So obviously your tent, your mat, your bag, lanterns, headlights, torches, perhaps we look into clothing. That's sort of an expansion thing. So basically we'll start with the basics and then we'll go from there and see where we end up. Also on the subject of camping, we are going to look at wild camping as well, but obviously again, that's a separate subject. We will do videos on wild camping if and when they arise. And another segment we are going to introduce, as soon as I can get this channel rolling, is something we're going to call charity camping. So what that's going to be is either from yourselves or from a friend of mine or the other people who are going to come camping with me. We are going to take a tent or a bivvy or a hammock or something along those lines, and we're going to do something funny with it. So basically, I'm not going to know what it is. We're going to turn up at the campsite. I'm going to be presented with this item and I have to sleep in it. Nice and simple. So basically, whether that's a 10 quid tent from Go Outdoors or a £500 hammock, it's on me to deal with. I will test it. We'll have a lot of fun. We'll see what we actually think of it. Now, as much as that's going to be, obviously there's going to be a lot of jokes in there, especially once you meet the other people I'm going to camp with, you'll understand. There's going to be a lot of jokes involved in that. But what we also will do with that was that item that we then use, whatever it is, whether that is a 10 quid Euro hike from Go Outdoors, £500 hammock, or £700 Nemo, really doesn't matter what it is. Once it's donated to the channel, what we will do with that is then auction it off, and any proceeds that we make from that will go to a charity. Now, that charity will either be of the person's choice. So for example, if it's something you've donated to us, I will give you the option, what do you want to do with this? And any proceeds made will be given to that charity. And if it's donated from a viewer, I will be more than happy to provide you with the proof that the full proceeds of that did go to that charity. If it's donated from elsewhere, again, it'll be the same idea. If it's going to be donated to, say, friends, families, neighbours, something like that, I'm simply going to have a quick conversation with them and go, what do you want to do? If they're not fussed, then it will default on one of a handful of charities that we think is a good idea at the time, depending upon what that is. As obviously everybody has different preferences. For example, I'm particularly drawn towards sort of things like cancer research and veterans, but I'm sure that the other people with me will have their equal opinions as well. So we'll sit there, we'll have a chat, we'll decide what to do. But any proceeds made from that, what we'll loosely call a joke device, a joke tent, hammock, whatever it is, will be sent directly to charity, just for a bit of fun. because it'll be really amusing for you guys to watch. It'll be a great laugh for us to do. So we'll simply go from there. So hiking, we are going to be filming some hikes. Now the majority of the hikes are going to be filmed with a GoPro, maybe myself, maybe others without me. It's like I said, this is going to be a varied channel. I'm not just going to be the sole person on there. There are going to be others working with me. The main goal of this channel is I simply want to bring the outdoors to people who necessarily cannot get there themselves. Now, whether that's simply because you don't have the time, that there is a particular reason you can't, things like that, we'll show you what is out there and have a bit of fun with you along the way. That is just simply all we're going for here. Folklore. Now, like I touched on before, I'm a really big fan of folklore, so that will be something we go into now. There are obviously there's various tall tales across the country. There's things like boggarts in Yorkshire. There are black wolves in Wales. This sort of stuff. We will go and have a look. There is obviously the big grey man in Scotland, up in the Cairngorms. Yes, it will be something we go and have a look for. Now, this is purely for fun. Don't get me wrong. I'm not attempting to instigate conspiracy theories or anything of that nature. This is purely just for a bit of fun. But it is something that I really enjoy. It gets us out. It gets us having a laugh. We'll get into the wild, we'll see what we find, and we'll bring it to you guys, and everybody can see what we think. The only thing I will say with that, guys, is please keep in mind, not everybody's opinions are the same. So this is about having a good time. It's not about bashing somebody's opinion because somebody thinks, I don't know, somebody thinks Elvis was abducted by aliens. Okay. People are allowed to live their own life. People are allowed to have fun. If that brightens somebody's day, that's fine. It's not up to us to judge why or why not. So please just keep that in mind when we do talk about things like this. It's just a bit of fun. If we find anything interesting, oh, don't get me wrong, I'll be the first to bring it to you. And we'll have fun. But keep in mind, it is just that. What's the basis? Obviously, we've covered camping, we've covered wild camping, we've done the charity aspect, hiking, folklore. This what we're going to look at is obviously reviewing general gear. So what we're going to try and do is build a camping kit that would help you guys, but that would be legal within the UK. So for example, unfortunately, that does rule out things like carrying axes, bushcraft knives, things like this. This is a little bit of a grey area, especially in the UK. That is something we'll touch on in time, is obviously what it is okay for you guys to be able to take with you. Because unfortunately, we have had run-ins with things like this in the past. Unfortunately, I was on my way back from a 3-day wild camp in Yorkshire. And unfortunately, I was very nearly arrested for walking into Asda carrying a 6-inch long bushcraft knife, which I'd completely forgot was on my hip. There's no harm, no foul, unfortunately. Luckily enough, the security were understanding because obviously I was in camo gear, I was covered in dirt, I'd got boots on. I explained my case, I offered to leave. Unfortunately, luckily enough, they actually let me. And obviously I left it in the car, came back in and got the shopping. Luckily enough, I was lucky enough to get away with that. So there are things like that you need to keep in mind, especially when we go out in the UK. Those are going to be things that we touch on as well. Other sort of stuff, obviously, we're looking to touch on is a bit of bushcrafting. So what we mean by this is not the extreme, I'm not expecting forces. I'm not looking to replace, certain people who do ultimate survival or anything. That's not what we're doing. We're trying to bring a bit of fun to you guys and have a bit of fun in the process. So when I say bushcrafting, we're going to build some firelighters. We're going to show you how to do that. As long as you do it safely, we'll go through it with you. We build a bit of firelighters. We're going to build a fire outside safely. We're going to set up some tarps, we're going to set up some hammocks, we're going to just generally have a bit of fun, we're going to build a couple of shelters, just general stuff that may be useful to you in time. So for example, if you do find yourself on a bit of private land, you find yourself at a campsite, you think, oh, I've got permission, let's have a bit of fun, we can build a lean-to. We can set up a tarp, we can have a fire, the general sort of stuff that would be useful in the UK, completely legally, to the normal person, the normal camper who just wants to have a good laugh. So that's part of what we're going to be doing. In time, we're going to look at things, maybe look at things like overlanding, maybe look at things like van life. That's a little bit out there for the moment because it's not something we'd normally do. So currently at the moment, none of us drive a van. None of us particularly got into any sort of overlanding or off-roading or anything like that. But it's not something I completely rule out. It's probably something I'd enjoy in truth. But that is something we'll come to in time. It's not something we're going to do initially. So I hope this gives you a quick breakdown of what it is that we're looking at doing. And I do genuinely hope you'll give us a subscribe, give us a like. If this sounds like something you'd be interested in, please send it to a friend, let them know. The bigger this channel gets, the more fun we can have, the more interesting things that we can bring to you. But like I say, the bigger it gets, the more fun we can have. That's the basic crux of this. If nobody's interested, well, we'll do it anyway. We've been doing it for years. But I believe it will be a lot more fun if we can bring it to you. We can all have good fun. We'll make some money for charity. We'll have a good laugh along the way. The other things that we do for charity, obviously the gear. So let's say we do a gear comparison. I'll be honest, I'm not going to need that gear. So if we review 5 camping lanterns, that's not something I'm going to need. So those camping lanterns, depending on what they are, they will either make money for charity, or I'm simply enough going to send them out. I'm going to put a scent out, say, right, you guys, who needs this, who thinks this would be useful to them, and so long as you're prepared to give me a reasonable reason. Obviously, I'm not interested in you guys saying, yes, I want it, and then sticking it on eBay. That's not a good idea. That's not where we want to go. But if you're going to turn to me and say, oh, I could use that, that'd be useful when I take out my kids, or that'd be useful when I pop down the camping site, or, no problem. Those things that we've tested then will then go out to you guys, assuming on the condition that they are safe, good, and actually usable. So some of these things I'm sure we're going to come across is going to be some junk that we've ordered from somewhere off the internet, or something somebody's bought for no other reason than simply because it's funny. That sort of stuff we'll deal with at the time. But as a general rule, I'm basing this channel around making some money for charity, like I say, and having a good time along the way. But I cannot do that without your help. So please, like I say, give us a subscribe, give us a like. If this is something that you will be interested in, please feel free to send it to a friend. We'll get some more videos out as soon as we can. So I hope that's answered a lot of the questions initially and given you a quick idea about what it is we're trying to do. Hopefully I'll see you all soon and we'll get going from there. Okay, folks, I think that's more or less us for now. So we've gone through a few basic things. We've given you an overview of what we're looking to do. I can only say I hope you can support us. I genuinely do. I love being out here. My favourite place to be. Hopefully it's one thing I'd love to share with my kids one day. But yeah, definitely something we want to share with all of you. So I can only ask you please support us, help us on the way. Like I say, we'll make some money for charity. We'll all have a good time. We'll all have a good laugh. Hopefully we can bring a little bit of this to you if you're not able to do it, or hopefully maybe we even inspire you too to get out there and do it. If we can ever be of any help, I don't know, questions, problems, you're simply looking for some advice about where to start, by all means get in touch. We've got a lot of experience over the years. All right, this is a new channel, but that doesn't mean we're new to doing this. We've been doing this a long time. So please keep that in mind. Hopefully we'll have a bit of fun. All the best. Stay safe. Okay, folks. So that's everything from me today. Like I say, please consider subscribe, like, send this to your friends if it's something of interest. Otherwise, I'm Tim. Thank you for listening to us. Hopefully you can become involved in greybeard camping. And hopefully we'll have a little bit of fun along the way. Thank you.
Bigfoot stole our beer by the campfire. Hey! Left big tracks and a half-eaten s'more. Tore through the tents like a drunk barn choir. Slammed one burp, then he wanted some more. If anyone asks why the cooler's all clear, tell them Bigfoot stole our beer.